it's safe to say we didn't think the game against Everton would go like that. Now, in this video, we're going to look at the 5 biggest takeaways we learned from the game, the 5 biggest points that I noticed, and what we kind of learned. Let's kind of analyse the game and what we learned watching Manchester United get absolutely played off the park by Everton. I mean, it was just a very, very poor performance, to say the least. I mean, there was no fight, there was no intensity. And there are some quotes from Ruben Amorim, which we will bring into the show as well, talking about what he said post-game and talking about his reflections on the game. But personally, for me, the first thing, no fight. And again, listen, Everton had the perfect example. And Amorim talked about after the game how he wants, like, in a good way, to see his players fight. It shows that they care and have a passion, more or less. And I think, listen, he said he didn't agree that it was a red card, and neither did I. But ultimately, there was just no fight. There was no urgency from players. It just looked lethargic. It looked of United of old, to be fair. They have a very poor result at home. You get played off the park. And the thing that is inexcusable is the fact that they were down to 10 men. Listen, it's understandable if they were with 11 men. And they, again, it would have been a deserved win. But the fact they had, over 70 minutes, I think it was, with 10 men was, and to United to play like that was embarrassing. I honestly thought when it went down to 10 men, I thought it'd be 3-0, and then Everton get the goal. Just a very, very poor goal conceded by United. They were winning all the flick-ons, and that ultimately where that goal comes from. But yeah, it's inexcusable to see the no intensity, no fight. We've been waiting over 2 weeks to watch this stuff, and it's embarrassing. It's very, very poor, and one of the worst performances I think I've seen under Ruben Amorim, definitely. And we've had some horrible ones, but this one of late was just, it was embarrassing. There was no, I genuinely think we missed Cunha and Tusko. I think they're two very important players, but again, there's still no excuses. You have players who have a lot of money, and Amorim goes on to say, he said it was on him. It's his responsibility. It's his fault that he didn't coach the players, or he didn't tell the players what to do when we went down to 10 men. For me personally, players who are on hundreds of £1,000s a week should be able to adapt and understand why or what to do when there's 10 men on the pitch. You have that extra advantage. You can afford to play with more risk, because Everton literally was 3-on-1 with the defence all the time, and it was very infuriating. If you're watching in the UK with Sky and Gary Neville, and he was talking about how both of the wide centre-backs should have got up. And again, that was a big issue. Yoro, sure, needed to get up the pitch. And I think Mazraoui and Martinez are very, very good at making those line progressing passes, which is something that we need to see. And I think Mazraoui, I think we learned that he's also a wing back. He's a wide centre-back rather than being a wing back. Now, number 2, no attacking impetus. I think the attack was just very, very lethargic. Like, there was just no fluidity. Yes, Xerxes in there, but again, he's still a decent player. He should be able to do something. And he had a few good headers, good saves by Pickford. But in the game, he did find it very, very difficult. Tarkowski and Keane were very, very physical and on him immediately. And Burmo as well struggled to get into the game. Obviously, Ahmad, I just don't think he is a left 10. He doesn't have that relationship with Dorgu. And I just think what we need to see going forward, particularly in that Palace game now, because that could go one or two ways. We could either get battered or United somehow get a win. I don't think that one will be a draw. But yeah, I think we needed players. I think going into the next game, you start Mount there, you start Mbeumo on the right, and you go maybe Xerxes through the middle. Hopefully Cunha's back, but there was just that no cutting edge. Listen, we were spamming crosses into the box. The one time where Sesko isn't here, we put millions of crosses into the box. I can remember at least 5 just from like Mbeumo alone, just like drifting out for a corner. Like, there was just no one there. And yeah, there was no cutting edge from the attack. Now, the one thing, it was Amorim's fault. Now, Amorim talked about his post-match comments are always very, very damning. He said, especially when we lose, he said he knew this was going to happen. He said, we're nowhere near where we want to play. We're nowhere near challenging for the top places in the Premier League. He said, I understand we have a lot to do. I'm really frustrated with the way that we played the game, especially at home, and understanding this weekend what happened with other clubs, looking at the table and feeling everything. And the way we presented from the first minute is very frustrating. Then he said, I feel afraid of returning to this feeling of last season. That is my biggest fear. We need to work together and we need to be better. And that is probably the most kind of eye-opening one out of all the quotes which he said. He has a fear of returning to last season. Look how bad last season was. 15th place. We lost to what was it, almost 20 games in the league. Again, it's only one game, so we can't be too reactionary, but it's in the manner in which we did lose the game. And the fear that we could be returning back was, we can't go back there. Like, it was the worst. Every game was just loss after loss. It was poor performance after poor performance. And I think we have made progress. Listen, small steps at a time, 5 games unbeaten. But the last 3 have been quite poor, if I'm being honest. 3 very, very poor results. And performance yesterday was inexcusable. Now, the fourth thing is subs didn't change the game. I think Amorim made the subs probably too wrong, probably a bit too late as well. I think, listen, I think soon as you go down to 10, or soon as they go down to 10 men, I think you take off Mazraoui, or take off Yoro, bring Mazraoui to right centre-back, move Ahmad to right wing-back, you immediately get that width. I think bringing on Dalot again, I don't know why I guess Dorgu didn't have the greatest game, but Dalot ain't any greater either. Who else? I get the main substitution. Casemiro was on the yellow. You needed a bit of legs and a bit of control in midfield. So I get bringing Manu on, but again, you just couldn't get into the game. And obviously the Mount one I kind of get as well. But the fifth and final thing, now what's next for Manchester United? Listen, it doesn't get any easier. Yes, the good run of fixtures that we had going into this game has immediately been gone. We face Palace in our next game. I think after that it's Wolves or West Ham. I think it's West Ham after. So listen, there are, on paper you would say, games where we can get a result, but we just know that that may not happen. But let me know your thoughts. They've been the 5 biggest takeaways. It's a big games coming up for United. We need to see a reaction. This was a game to forget. And again, it just shows we take a couple steps forward, but we're brought back to reality. Thank you for watching.